the very last time that we all sat down, and in session one is what we're calling it. Session one, I spoke with some young men, and that had came through our barbering program, and at a very what I call a crucial moment in their life, and we talked about it, and I was like, okay, so we know that everyone goes through certain points in life where they have this, they have to make a choice. It's today we're gonna talk about that choking point moment.
Okay.
so we're gonna call it that choking point moment.
Right.
You know, when I spoke to them, you know, we talked about it from a different reference. But today I want to kind of talk about that choking point moment with you. You know, because that choking point moment with you, you know, when I even think about it, I'm thinking about the choking point moment, the moment where you can choose the righteous route, the Ori-Pele route, the route that moves you in the way that God has positioned you in the first place to be and move and designed already and laid out this path for you, or you could choose the other route. That route where your character is compromised again. You know? But at some point you hit that choking point moment. And you remember it. See,
I definitely remember.
Did I just wake it up?
I remember it.
Did I just wake it up?
I definitely remember.
So that's really what we want to, you know, see, because sitting here now, I see the man Stephen. And most people that meet you see the man Stephen. But they don't know the spirit behind the man Stephen that they're looking at this particular point. And they don't know what breaking that spirit has to go through to be the man Stephen that's sitting here now. So those guys that I spoke to, they went through the barber course, they had to make a mid-course adjustment. We talked about a mid-course adjustment in our last session. But today, I want to talk about, as men, that choking point moment.
The choking point moment. Wow. So for me, that choking point moment came, I was a young man that I had a propensity for making poor decisions. I did not think about my actions or what it would really net me. And before I know it, I looked up and, you know, I was sitting in TDCJ wondering what in the world, like, now I say this about it, because that was my choking point moment. But that was my eye-opening moment. It was that moment where I said to myself, man, this is real. Like, because anyone who knows that narrative can't be laid out for you. You have to see that to actually know what it is.
Yeah.
And when you in it, it's a whole nother monster than looking at a movie. And so that choking point moment you talk about, though, came right after.
Okay.
I was home. I hadn't been home long. And you know how it is. You got boys that still here when you left, that still when you back. Right. They still on the same thing.
Right.
And so now that opportunity still exists. That's that choking point.
Because you got a choice now.
You got a choice now.
Or
you already know what it is.
Right.
They done already showed you, okay, so this is what that is.
Okay.
This is what you want. At the time, man, I had 2 sons, and it was like, man, this ain't no way I'm gonna do anything to be away from them any longer. Right? And I dabbled. And it was the choke, but you right, because I seriously considered reverting back to the same thing that got me in that position in the first place.
Right.
And it was in that moment, you know, and for me, it was the love of my kids and not wanting to be away from them that made me say, you know what, I'm gonna have to find something else. I didn't know what it was gonna be. I just knew it had to be something else. And so at the time, man, I would take any kind of work I could get. I had a saying when I was young: a little bit of something beats a whole lot of nothing.
Hey.
So I don't care what the work is.
Yeah.
If it's legit, it's legal, I get paid, and I don't have to worry, I'm gonna do it. I washed cars. I did hot shots. I did whatever I had to do, man. I had a friend. Rest in peace, Candace Thomas, man. Candace Thomas owned Genesis Salon in Louisville, Texas. She was a good friend of mine. I met her you know, when I was like 19, fast forward, at this time, I'm about 25. And I was going to hang out with him. And so I went to meet her at her shop, salon, right? And I was sitting in the salon, and they were closed. And the guy was cutting hair, and his last client, you know, got out the chair. You had people knock, hey, kid, one more. I'm just looking. I never considered being a barber, right? The thought never crossed my mind. But I'm sitting in this salon and I'm looking. I'm like, okay, it's vibrant. The barber, he cut, you know, nice, chill ambiance. She doing her thing. So when he finished his last client, he ups, he leaves, locks the door. Dude start pulling money out of schmuck pockets. Oh, hey, wait a minute, bro. Because he had a nice little old tape in his pocket.
Them days. Is that yours?
Hey, that's all. Hey, man.
I remember them days.
Hey, cutting hair. He was like, yeah, bro, cutting hair.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
That was my aha moment.
Yeah.
That was my moment right there. That's when I decided right there in that moment, I'm going to barber school.
Yeah.
and the rest is just, you know, once I made up my mind to do it,
Right.
like I made up my mind that if I'm going to be in the hair industry, I want to be at the top of the industry.
Right.
I want to be known as one of the best in my industry. Right. At what I do. Not necessarily give the best haircut,
Right.
but be the best professional.
So let me ask you a question, because, you know, I know your resume, right? I know your resume in this industry. And to get to where you are in this industry, what hurdles did that mistake cause you, or should I say, what hurdles did you have to get over because of that residue following you from that?
So I've actually been a barber long enough that when I came into barbering, they didn't care about that. It was not even on the application. So it was something that I knew I could do without having to even worry about that. So by the time the state implemented it, I was already grandfathered in. I had been in the industry long enough, in good standing, that of course the question is on the application.
Right.
I have to answer it, but you know, I by that time I was already maybe 10 years in, because that didn't come along until TDLR came along.
Correct.
Which was 2007.
Right.
I started in 97.
Right.
So I was 10 years in good standing, shop owner, you know, licensing. So by the time it actually came along to where it is now,
Right.
to where it's actually a hurdle for candidates, I was already grandfathered in.
So can you share a little bit of some of the things that you have been able to do, the success that you've had from being a barber and where it has taken you and where you are now?
It changed my life. It actually saved my life. I'll go so far as to say that, because it gave me a real foundation. It gave me something. It gave me a way to really, really earn on a level that I can sustain and provide for, feed a family, provide cleats and mouthpieces and all this stuff
Right.
that is required of a father, man. Because you know, I also feel like, you know, the thing that I'm most appreciative of is it allowed me to be just that, a father.
Right.
It put me in a position to be a good father. That's the thing I love the most about this industry, right? Now, early in, so I want to tell all my people that's coming, this is one the easy thing to do, right? It requires commitment, it requires hard work, it requires building your business, right? But if you do that, you're gonna find yourself in a good position over time, and you'll own your time.
Right.
Like, and clients, they appreciate those type of attributes out of their barber. And so all it takes is communication with your clients, and they'll work around you being who you need to be. For example, my children, I had 2 sons that play Little League football. We all know that Little League football games are on Saturday.
Right.
We're barbers. Well, for me, I had the kind of clientele that understood that, hey, during football season on Saturday, I'm a dad first.
Right.
You know, I can cut your hair anytime. I can't get this time back with my sons, right? And so my clients understood, and they worked around that schedule. So for me, barbering, giving me the ability to own that time. If I had a situation at one of my kids' school, if they needed something, if there was an emergency, You know, I didn't have to worry about having to ask to be able to go and do what I needed to do. I owned that time. And that was the most valuable thing for me in it. Now, of course, you mentioned, you know, my resume. Like I said, when I decided to get into this industry, I made up my mind that I want to see the top of the industry. That means whatever credentials that this industry has to offer, I want those credentials. I want the highest level of credential.
Right.
Of course, for us, it's instructor and on both sides, cars and barber. Right. So for me, I felt like that would give me more options. When the opportunity to work with PSI and TDLR came along, I jumped on those opportunities. Right. When I saw those, because I know that being involved, being informed, right, that made me more valuable at what it is I do. Right. And that's how I was able to.
And that's kind of how you and I met also.
That's exactly how we met.
That's how we met.
That's exactly how we met.
And for those that don't understand, you know, TDLR, PSI, and what we do, we'll give you an opportunity to kind of let me know.
Okay, so Mr. Shaw, if it only made sense, man. Mystros is a perfect fit for me. I can't work for any barber college because you know as well as I do, I don't want to work for a for-profit college. I want to work for a for-people college.
There you go.
Right? Like I know, I've known you long enough. We've sit in those rooms long enough and we've worked hard enough together, right, that I knew when I came on board with Mystros that I was coming on board with a team that actually cares about the industry, right, because of what we do. Now to tell you guys what we do, I can tell you exactly what we do.
I know, but we can't tell. We might not be doing it no more.
But Harris and I actually original board members on our exam review committee here in the state of Texas, appointed subject matter experts on barbering for the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. So just to sum it up, our thumbprint will be on barbering for decades, yeah, with the work that we've contributed behind the scenes that people don't even know about to this industry. For years now, yeah, we've done this for over 10 years now.
That's true.
We've contributed to our industry behind the scenes, not for the notoriety, but for our love of our industry and for the direction that it's going in, because so many of us, we don't get involved in the process. So many of us don't even have a clue what's going on in our industry until it's done. Yeah. And then you got barbers behind the chair. I guarantee you, you can poll 10 barbers random right now. They won't be able to tell you the changes that happen. 8 out of those 10 won't be able to tell you the changes that will go into effect on Saturday. Right. On Friday. Friday's the first, right?
Yeah, Friday.
We got new laws going into effect in our industry, yes, on Friday. And I guarantee you, if you poll 10 random barbers right now, 8 of them can't tell you what those changes are. Right. But we got involved, and you know, myself, so that I would know. It only made sense, yeah, in this working in this capacity, in this role as an educator, bringing people into the industry. It only made sense for me to do everything to be as knowledgeable as I can about our industry so that I can pass that along to our students. That's what you get at Mystros. You get not only an instructor, but an owner that has insight, invaluable insight on our industry. Right. And I don't know if you have, but I've also worked with PSI. Right. So I've also been a rater. I've been the guy when you come in to take your practical exam, I'm the guy standing there that's grading you. So I knew that experience would only help me prepare my students for exams.
Now, speaking of experience, now, my thing is this. Did you ever think that what you had gone through, that hurt, that disappointment, would put you in this place now to be able to look back at the young men and the lives that you're touching now?
You know, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, man, I feel like it's God. I feel like it was meant to be that way. I feel like that was necessary for me to now be in the position that I'm in now, to have these young men and to be able to actually relate to them. I can say to you, hey man, I'm telling you from experience what I know. Yeah. You're not talking to a guy that read this in a book. Right. I've lived this. I'm telling you now, you know, I'm gonna advise you. I can't tell you what to do, but I'm gonna give you the best advice that I can in hopes that you listen. Right. Because I've lived it. Like we go through it so that others behind us don't have to.
Correct.
You
know, Stephen, I want to say, man, here in front of this camera, and you know, those that might be watching this, potentially watch this, I honor you, man.
Thank you, my brother.
Man, I honor you.
Likewise, bro. No, likewise.
No, don't take this back. Like, don't take it back from me. I honor you, man. I honor you for the man that you are, the accomplishments that you have, you know, the things that you have done and things that you continue to do. Like, I can say that I see you. And you know what I mean when I say that. Like, I see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
And I appreciate you for being you.
Hey, man.
And when I see you, I see an extension of me. And that's one of the reasons that I was so excited about us collaborating, us coming together, us working together, having a like-minded, having a heart for our youth, for our kids. And then, since we're about to talk about this anyway tonight, we might as well talk about it now.
Let's give it to them.
Let's give it to them now. Because tonight is a special night for us, right?
Tonight is a special night for Mystros.
So tonight is a special night for Mystros because, first of all, one of the only reasons that this building is sitting here today is because I set out with a vision that was not promised to me. It was not promised to me. It was just something that I spoke and I said that I wanted. And I believe that when God gives you a vision, He's gonna give you the provision also. And so we've sat back and we've watched the vision develop and we've watched the provision develop also. So because of that, brother, we can proudly say now that we've signed a contract with Fort Bend ISD.
Come on, game changer.
They awarded us 5 high schools, not one high
Come
school.
on.
They awarded us
Come
five
on, man.
5 high schools.
Come on.
And so, again, I'll always say, okay, Spring laid the foundation by allowing us to do this with them being the first high school. And then for Fort Bend ISD to come back and give us 5 high schools to work with, man, it is truly a blessing. I thank Spring for saying yes, and then Fort Bend coming right behind them saying yes also.
Fort Bend ISD, the city of Missouri City, man,
Yes.
they've been amazing throughout this entire process. And so, like I say, man, we're about to be servicing high school students here in Fort Bend ISD. These young men are going to have an opportunity to graduate high school, license in hand, and go out and earn immediately post high school. Right.
And so, you know, you and I, we kicked it back and forth because we said, man, we don't want to just give them a barber certificate when they're coming to school. We want to go farther. So we're going to be implementing some business courses for these young men when they come in.
We have a financial literacy course.
Yes.
Our first program course is scheduled on September the 20th for our students. So all of our students will be privy to financial literacy from financial professionals, not from us.
Right.
We're barbers. we do okay now, but we have actual finance people
That'll be coming
that
in.
work in finance that will be coming in to educate our young people on how to not only make money, but how to grow their money, because it's important to know what to do with your finances. Because we all make money, but so many of us don't know what to do when we earn it,
Correct.
how to keep it. So we're definitely going to educate our young people on how to handle their finances. And go ahead.
And because we're also targeting not just, you know, we're not targeting just that A, that B, that C student. You know, we're targeting students that are wanting to change their lives, that's wanting to make a mid-course adjustment, that's in the middle of a choking point moment. You know, we're targeting that individual, those individuals that are wanting someone to give them an opportunity, wanting a second chance at something, and wanting somebody to care about them themselves. So that's our way. You know, I know for me, because we've had these conversations, that is our way of showing them, hey, we're not just gonna put a barber certificate in your hand. We're gonna give you much more. You know, you're gonna walk away from here with some life skills and some things that will carry you long beyond the chair. One of the things also that we hadn't talked about was our mental health program.
That's right.
Yeah, we know that that's open to the community actually. It's here for our students, but it's open to the community.
Yeah, we partner with a doctor to provide our students as well as our community mental health support if needed. And so we definitely want to do all that we can to help our community heal, to help our community grow, and for those people, like you say, that's at that, because that's where we started. For people that's at that choking point, man, you have an example right here. You have a real example to show you that, you know, there is there's hope.
Right.
There's opportunity, you know, and there's a real solid foundation in this industry.
So, and the last thing I want to talk about, Stephen, is how do you think we can encourage other barbers and cosmetology or hair salons, just anyone that's in this industry that's in our community? We want them to know that, hey, we're here for that particular purpose also. We are looking for mentors for our students. So if you own a barbershop, you own a hair salon, then we're inviting you to come out and partner with us also. You know, we can only do so much here as a school, but we would like for our community to come out and partner with us also. Barbers, you need barbers. We're training great barbers. Stylists, you're gonna need them also. We're training great barbers. We're training our barbers not to just stand behind the chair and cut hair. You know, in our program, they learn everything from chemical processing to color, yeah.
Everything that your license encompasses.
Yes.
We learn it here at Mystros. We make sure we want you to be able to use any part of that license. That's the beauty of our industry. You have so many different avenues that you can tap into for revenue. And I just tell my students, the larger your service menu, the larger your opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, so definitely you know, make yourself competent in all of those areas. And you do that, you know, the success will come. Success is a byproduct of self-development.
Yeah.
So I try to encourage my students, focus on being a better you. Focus on being a better version of you every single day. I tell my students, when you walk into this building in the morning, come expecting to gain some knowledge, some information, some skill, something that you didn't come in the building with. Right? So that every day that you leave here, you're that much better yourself. You know, so work on you, focus on you. And you do that, the success is simply a byproduct of that self-development.
Right.
And the more you grow, the more successful you're gonna be.
Right. It's basically like making a deposit in themselves in a sense.
That's it.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Man, I like it. So what we want to do, man, is just thank the people for tuning in. We want to thank you guys for, again, like showing us so much love during this process, Missouri City. And for all of you that are waiting, that are wishing that you can get in a program like this, it's just a simple yes. At Mystros, we believe my yes starts the road of success. Yes.